Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing good today and we're all healing today a little bit more every day. I want to talk today about something that was a real issue in the marriage I had with my narc. And that had to do with the way he was with my family and also with his family. You know, during the love bomb stage, they're very involved, right? They come off as the knight in shining armor to your parents, right? And your parents will probably at first be so happy that you met someone so wonderful, and they're so happy that you're happy. You know, and family events, you know, they're there holding your hand, sitting with you, and doing things just like normal, right? And with my narc, you know, he did exactly that. You know, family dinners, go to my mom's, go to my brother's. And it was like 6 months until he finally introduced me to his mom, who ended up being just like an amazing lady. Of course, you know, he didn't really paint that picture for me of her. The only thing that he really talked about when he talked about his mom is what she was like when she went through the divorce with his dad and how it almost drove her insane. And I found out much later that, his dad was also a narc. So I never met his mom. I met her once and she was the sweetest lady. And I didn't see her again for a few months. So it was very sporadic, you know, and I'm very involved with my family for the most part, you know, like as soon as there's, you know, a family event, you know, at a dinner, I'm there, right? Or if there's a barbecue at, you know, my brother's house, I'm there. Or, you know, as soon as any kind of, event happens, it's just not a matter of, first of all, you know about it, and there's always an open invite, and it's always a good time. And it was like that at the beginning, and I would say for the first 2 years, we never missed any family events on my side of the family. And then things would start happening. Our lives, you know, would get very busy, and all of a sudden he didn't have time, you know, or that was the excuse that, you know, he didn't there's a 2-year-old's birthday party, you know, like I'm busy doing this, I don't have time to go. Or there would always be some excuse, or he would always make his life seem so busy and everything he was doing was always so important that he just didn't have time. And then it started like, even if he did go, he would always show up late, and it would always have to be, you know, I would go ahead of him, and when he was done with whatever he was doing, he would show up. So if, like, say we had dinner at my mom's, you know, I would be there, you know, early to, you know, spend time in the pool and socialize, and then dinners, you know, at whatever time, and my narc would show up right at dinner. You know, there's no socializing beforehand, you know. And it just started to be such a repetitive theme. And then it started where it wasn't just me showing up early and him following later on. It would be me going to an event, a family event, and him not showing up at all. And even if he did show up, he would spend the entire time on his phone. Or sometimes he would just lie on the couch and take a nap or fall asleep in a corner. It was really... And, you know, at first I would always brush it off. Well, he's busy, he's tired, you know. And it started to be so bad that there were a couple events that I would go to, and everyone there was a couple and and, you know, or brought all their families, and everyone was there, and I was alone. I was alone at events where I shouldn't have been alone. And it started to get very upsetting, and I can remember at some of these places, like, you know, shuffling myself into one of the bedrooms and cry for a little bit, and then clean myself up and have to go back out there. And these are things that, I was married for a few years by the time we kind of got to this stage in our relationship, but I should have known something was wrong then. But of course, I didn't know if it was my fault. I didn't know if it was our circumstances. I knew something had to change. And so if I tried to bring it up with him about things like this, about not going to places that, going to events that family things that meant something to me, he would almost look at me and explain to me in a state of confusion, like, why would I go to that event? He doesn't want to spend time with these people that, he was so vegan, and if there was any non-vegans there that were going to eat non-vegan food, it would be like as if that was an excuse not to spend time with any family members. And he would just look at me like, why would he go to these places? It's just going to take away time from his life and the things that he wants to do. And it would end up being an argument, and the argument would make me feel like I'm, and this is what narcs do. They make you feel like you're the bad person because I'm almost trying to hurt him by getting him to spend time with me and my family. And I'm selfish, is the way he would try to make me feel. Now, of course, all this makes sense now, because now I know that he was a narcissist. And going to events like that, there's no fuel there for him. They're draining to him, so he's not going to go. Remember, it's all about them. They only care about themselves and about obtaining fuel for themselves. And there is nothing in it for him to go to a family event. He'll do it at the beginning of the relationship as part of the love bombing, of course. But after that's done, there's no chance. He's going to take time out of his so-called busy schedule to do normal family things because it would drain him. And he even admitted to me that these things are exhausting to him. And they shouldn't be. I remember that. Like, they shouldn't have been. It's a relaxing, barbecue. My mom was like, what's the problem? To me, it seemed like, and I was hurt. I'm like, this is what, being part of a couple in marriage, and it's what it's supposed to be. And, on Sundays, but no, he's, filming videos. He's got editing to do. He's got this to take care of and that. And I'm just in there going, and I had to go alone again. And it was being with a narcissist is incredibly lonely towards the end when you're being devalued like that. Because they're devaluing you, and they're devaluing your family and your friends and everything. And that's when things started really being apparent that something was wrong. And he made it seem like it was just kind of all in my head, and these are inappropriate demands that I was making on him when he's working so hard. And that's not what it was. He was a narcissist that needs fuel. And first of all, he's upset because I'm giving myself to my family instead of him. So that's the first thing that upsets him, right? They're so selfish, and even if they know they're selfish, they don't care. They don't care what other people think of, like what the family thinks of him, because they treat them just like they would treat a friend that has no value to them, or someone they meet that has no value to them. If they meet someone and they're just, like say a writer, well, and he has no need for a writer, well, he's never gonna even contact or talk to that person again, right? They're dead to him because he can't obtain fuel for them. But the thing is, family members are people that you're meant to spend time with, right? Like you can't choose your family, But he will never see his family again if he doesn't need to, because they'll drain him of precious fuel, and he's the one who needs it. I found out recently that my narc hasn't talked to his mom in 6 months. Again, like not one phone call, not one text, absolutely nothing. And I just got a reminder on my phone that it's her birthday today, and I want to reach out to her so bad because I want to say happy birthday. I know she just moved, and I don't know if it's going to be appropriate, and it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. And I'm wondering, did he probably didn't, unless he's got a reminder on his phone to tell him to. He's not going to remember. He's not going to care. So some of the warning signs. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, after the love bombing stage is over, pay attention to how they behave around your family and going to family events. And if you start noticing them not wanting to go because there's nothing in it for him to go, that's a sign that you're with a narcissist. And I think that would be the same whether they're a covert or overt or lesser or greater narcissist. I mean, sure, the greater might start a really heavy argument over it. My narc was a covert narc. He was a quiet, introverted, shy narcissist. So he would never fight. Instead, he would be passive aggressive and just give me that look going, why would he spend time with my family? What's the reason for that? And he was to start listing off all the bad things about them and how he didn't want to be around that. And it was because there was something wrong with my family, not with him. Was his way of looking at situations like that. And I'm trying to, I'm still trying to heal from, because it's damaging, right? It's damaging in a relationship when you're with someone that tells you that your family is not worth hanging around, and if you're going to hang out with them, well, then you're going to do it alone because, and that's not a partner, okay? That's not a partner in life that you're supposed to, that's not a husband. You're not supposed to feel that way about your own family. And then have them try to turn on them or try to isolate you from them, right? So if you guys are out there and you have someone in your life that's trying to isolate you from your own family and tells you that they're no good and tries to just keep you with them, you're in a dangerous relationship and you need to get out, because it's going to get worse. It's just as an abusive of a relationship as them hitting you. And I know that there's going to be women out there that might get upset with me saying it's not the same, but the thing is, they're invisible scars, aren't they? The abuse that you endure by being isolated from your family and then having to just be with them and only to have them completely leave you is so abusive and damaging that, I think I would have preferred to just get hit than have to try to repair the damage that was done between me and my family and him, and So if you're noticing these types of behaviors, or if you did notice, if you're already out of the relationship and have noticed these types of behaviors, it might help to understand why, and that it wasn't you that caused it. It was the narcissist, and you won't be able to fix them. You need to just be glad that you're away from them now and that you've escaped. And because you're supposed to be able to be in a healthy relationship as a couple, normal, going, to do things together, even though it doesn't need to have a benefit for him, So, I just wanted to share a couple of things like that, the way narcissists are with your family and the way they see them. It's a lot like the way they see friends. So, I hope wherever you guys are out there, I'm glad you're tuning into this. Thank you for listening as we all try to heal and move forward with happiness post Narcissist.